UFC Kansas City, this is the full card recap. We're going to go through each fight, break them down, see who won, see who lost, go through the picks, Makai's money making plays, and we'll end it up, maybe do a little bit of matchmaking. Pretty good fight card, I got to say. This was a highly anticipated matchup. I enjoyed the fights. Card was actually really good. We had a lot of finishes throughout. Pretty good fights. The decision wins weren't bad at all either. So it was a really good fight card. But let's get into the video and let's start recapping these fights. Starting off the card, we had Jocelyn Edwards taking on Chelsea Chandler. Jocelyn Edwards finds the first round knockout. Very impressive finish for her. I was not expecting a knockout. I was not, especially not in the first round. Usually women's fights, they tend to go the distance, but I really like Jocelyn Edwards striking. It was pretty evident here. I knew she had the striking advantage in this fight, which is why she was a moderate favorite. Closed at -280, and she let go some big bombs, put Chelsea Chandler. I think from when I watched it, I thought Chelsea Chandler went to sleep, but she curled up, fetal position, got finished in the very first round. Very nice finish from Jocelyn Edwards. Seems to, have her game all complete. Defended, I believe Chelsea shot maybe like 1 or 2 takedowns, defended them pretty easily, shook her off, and got the big knockout with the strikes. Very impressive finish from Jocelyn Edwards. Way to start the card too. Very impressive. Next up, we had Timmy Kawamba taking on Roberto Romero. So as you guys know, in this fight, or going into this fight, I had Roberto Romero. I will say Timmy Kawamba's his hands, I always knew they were fast, but they looked pretty sharp in this fight too. He was not allowing Roberto to close the distance. His jab was pretty quick. Definitely was defending the grappling from Roberto Romero. Was not, he wasn't allowing him to close the distance, tie him up for long. If they were tied up against the cage, Timmy was throwing some good knees to the body, letting his hands go, elbows off the break, elbows in the clinch. He was doing some pretty good work. Let's get this ad out of here, jeez. Yeah, he was doing some pretty good work. Then second round comes, first round, he rocked Roberto for a little bit too. Roberto came back to his senses, started landing a few shots, but Timmy Kawamba, he was dialed in. I definitely, underestimated his striking because, his production in the UFC, he's just been getting hit and getting dropped. Well, from Lucas Alexander. So salute to Lucas Alexander. He was able to drop this guy 3 times. Roberto was not able to land anything, super clean. I believe he did cut Roberto got cut on the forehead. Second round, though, towards the end of the round, Timmy Kawamba lands a big knee down the middle. Roberto Romero is starting to, he hits the ground. He's trying to get his wits about himself back to get, I cannot talk. Trying to get back to his feet, and the ref stops the fight. I thought the stoppage was definitely questionable. Romero wasn't completely out of it. He was, working back to his feet. It kind of reminded me of like the Sean Woodson Dan Ige fight. Not completely similar, but similar, position for the hurt opponent. Both of them were wrestling up. Roberto was even chasing him, after the fight was called. Definitely did not like this stoppage though. But I will say Timmy Kawamba was definitely on his way towards a win. He was landing, some really good shots on Roberto Romero. He was faster than I think Roberto expected. And, he gets his knockout. He gets his knockout in the UFC. First win in the UFC as well. So salute to Timmy Kawamba. As you can see, their records were pretty similar going into this one. I think they'll give Roberto one more fight. He did come in on short notice, taking on David Onama in his debut. So maybe one more fight. He might need to maybe go back up to 55. Who knows? But yeah, rough loss. I wish they would have, let the fight go on. Wish it didn't end like that. Next up, we had Jacqueline Emerim taking on Polyana Viana. Dan Miragliotta, we're going to have to investigate this guy, man. Not once, but twice. He, stopped the fights a little early. We had like 10 seconds left on the clock. He's telling the fighters to break it up. It was a little weird, a little questionable from him, but pretty sure he has an explanation. I don't know. He's heard the clappers who knows how many times, so But Jacqueline Emery, very first round, got Polyana to her back super easily, doing some some groundwork, trying to find a submission. Had her back momentarily. Was looking for a arm triangle, I believe. Threatened the arm bar, but really just controlling her for the entire first round. Polyana could not stop the takedown at all. Second round, came out the gate, took her down, and ended up finding the rear naked choke. Perfect prediction on this one, Jacqueline Emery by submission. I've told you guys, Polyana, she leans back but leaves her hips forward, which was a recipe for disaster for someone like Jacqueline Emery, who wants to take you down, who wants to control you and find the submission. And that she did exactly. So salute to Jacqueline Emery for getting the submission finish. She's got, some pretty good expectations around her. We'll see what they give her next. It'll definitely be interesting. Probably like 1 or 2 more fights before she enters the rankings, but pretty good win for Jacqueline Emery. Next up, my boy Malcolm Wellmaker taking on Cameron Saaiman. Oh my gosh, this was picture perfect, bro. If you listen to his post fight interview, he said this was literally a dream come true, and that it was. He landed the right hook from hell, bro. He put Cameron Saaiman out of his misery. I told you guys he was gonna knock him out. I told you he was gonna come within 2 rounds. He didn't even need 2 minutes. He didn't need 2 minutes, bro. Put him to sleep. It was bad. I can't front. I kind of feel bad for Cameron Saaiman. That was a nasty knockout, and he's on a nasty 3-fight skid. He's been fighting some tough guys. He got C-Rod, who's a prospect killer. Then he fought Talbot, who put the hands on him, and then Malcolm just finished him. Malcolm definitely did it, more impressive than both of them. Cameron looked like he was, oh man, it was nasty. Beautiful finish from Malcolm Wellmaker. Way to make a debut. Way to stamp your name in the UFC. And this is, man, we were watching it at we went to like this local pizza place. It's called the Pizza Joint. If you guys are in Augusta, check it out. Some really good pizza there. They were hosting the fight actually for a lot of us. That train with Malcolm. It was ecstatic. I might, put a clip of the me recording when we were watching the fight. It was a sight to see, man. Definitely happy for Malcolm. He got the finish that he predicted. Mystic Mac, I was telling you guys on the weigh-in show, he called it and he did it. It's kind of similar to his knockout on the Dana White Contender Series too. That check right hook. It wasn't really clean, but he ate a left hand and he delivered a bomb. So Malcolm Wellmaker, he's gonna make noise in the UFC in the bantamweight division. So keep an eye out for this guy, man. And he might even fight on this UFC Atlanta card. And if he does that, you already know the whole Augusta's coming out there. So salute to Malcolm, stamping his debut. Beautiful performance. Next up, we had Damon Blackshear taking on Alateng Haley. This was actually surprising to me. Alateng Haley shot 1 takedown, and the entire fight was just a kickboxing match. I will say Damon Blackshear's striking has definitely, improved significantly. He looked really good, really clean, really crisp. He was picking Alateng Haley apart, which is what I expected him to do. But I thought Alateng Haley would use, since he was at such a disadvantage. If you look at the reach, look at Jesus. I thought he would try to close the distance and wrestle a lot more. But only one takedown attempt, and Damon just picked him apart. I mean, what else could he do? He looked really clean though. Striking looked really clean. And get this man a ranked fight, please, because I don't even know why they booked this matchup. I guess I can't even make sense of it. But you see what he did. He picked Alateng Haley apart for 3 entire rounds. Never was really in some big trouble. Alateng Haley was throwing some big wild hooks towards the end of the fight. I thought if he would have landed one, it kind of would have been interesting, but Damon was too clean. Evaded all of them pretty smoothly. Was on the bike at the end of the fight, but he was tearing Alateng Haley apart, and pretty good performance from him. Get this man a ranked fight. Next up, we had Chris Gutierrez taking on John Castaneda. I actually had to rewatch this fight because initially I thought John won, but watching it again, you can give the first 2 rounds to Chris Gutierrez. First round, he dropped John with like a straight right, was landing some ground and pound towards the end of the round. And then the second round, he was. I feel like he was more clean in the striking. John didn't mix up the wrestling up until the third round with like 2 minutes left. So that's on him, man. He was definitely supposed to mix it up a lot earlier. He was getting dropped by the leg kicks in the first round. He was getting dropped by the right hand. He definitely should have mixed in the wrestling. I did not know that they trained together too. So they were pretty familiar, but I thought John was going to, close the gap. He has the reach advantage in this fight too. He was not able to get a steady jab going on him. He did stun Chris Gutierrez a few times, I will say, with like a right hand over the top. Both of them were like freezing after getting hit pretty big. But Chris Gutierrez had the bigger moments in the fight. He stayed clean. Did make a few mistakes. He pulled guard one time. That's how John ended up on top. Landed a few shots, but it wasn't, significant enough to get like a 10-8 and win him the fight. Definitely should have put some more effort into the first 2 rounds. He let Chris, well, he didn't let him bag him, but, Chris did what he needed to do. Salute to Chris Gutierrez. I'm not a big fan of his, as you can see. I thought John was going to make it a lot dirtier than what it was, but Chris Gutierrez gets the win. Next up, we had Evan Elder taking on Gage Young. And I will say, Gage Young looked really good. He looked really good for this to, for this to be his UFC debut. I will say you put him in there with maybe a less experienced, lightweight, someone who has probably like 1 fight in the UFC, 1 or 2 fights. And he might find a finish. His striking is pretty good. The speed is there. He was able to eat a lot of shots that Evan Elder was throwing at him. Evan was throwing some big bombs, heavy body kicks too. He was working the body beautifully. I like that from Evan Elder. Definitely was he was a cleaner fighter on the feet. Tried to, land some takedowns. Gage was defending him pretty well. Pretty good sprawls. Evan Elder, I will say towards like the second round, it started to look like he was gassing a little bit, which is kind of weird because, him cutting from 70, I thought his gas tank would be through the roof, but it looked like he wasn't slowing down, but he was definitely taking some big, deep breaths. And Gage Young, he did have a few moments of success, but it felt like he was, a little too hesitant. Maybe the lights were too bright. Definitely in his next fight, he'll settle in and get a little more comfortable, but his hands are pretty good. His kicks are pretty good. Evan Elder, gave him not necessarily like a UFC lesson, but showed him that there's some levels. And once you get your feet wet here, then you can, hang with the guys. But Evan Elder, pretty clean performance. Like I said, that body work was amazing. And he keeps Gage Young at bay. 9-2, moves up to 10-2. Gage Young, 9-3. Pretty good fight though. A lot of the crowd was booing him. I don't know why. Everybody wanted blood. There was a lot of finishes, as you guys could see on the the early prelims, but it was a really good fight. I enjoyed it. Great fight from Evan Elder. Next up, we had the featured prelim, Matt Schnell taking on Jimmy Flick, and it went similar to how I expected. Matt Schnell was following Jimmy Flick to the mat a bunch of times. They both had each other in danger. Danger had Jimmy Flick in danger a few times, both of them jumping on guillotines, rear naked chokes. Jimmy Flick almost had an arm triangle at one point in the fight. Jimmy Flick was slick, bro. There was a few times I thought he was going to get submitted. He fought out of it, then was jumping on Matt Schnell, was about to submit him. It was a back and forth jiu-jitsu battle. Matt Schnell, I thought he was going to try and stay on the feet, but he was willing to follow Jimmy Flick to the mat. And it was a really good fight. Usually I don't, like jiu-jitsu as much as they did it in this fight, but it was pretty interesting. A lot of really close, submissions getting finished, but it was a really good fight. Matt Schnell, I believe both of them came out of retirement, but I know Matt Schnell did for certain. And he didn't really look like he missed a beat, but I will say if he's gonna fight again, it's gonna have to be somebody similar to this level, because you make that mistake, somebody is going to tap you or finish you. Yeah, Jimmy Flick didn't have the hands to, compete with him on the feet, but he didn't need to. Matt Snell played right into his game, and it was a jiu-jitsu a jiu-jitsu match for majority of the fight. But Matt Snell gets the unanimous decision. So close for Jimmy Flick to get the submission a few times. Probably he had maybe 3 submissions in each round that were pretty close to getting locked up. But Matt Snell pulls away. Opening up the main card, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We had Ikram Aliskerov knocking out Andre Muniz with a phantom left hook. Ikram pressured him early, landed the left hook. It was kind of like a delayed reaction from Muniz, fell to the cage, and then Ikram just blitzed him, finished the fight. Exactly how I thought it would go. I thought it would be, I thought he would bombard him a lot earlier in the match, but didn't really need to. He was a little patient, found his success. Muniz's striking, wasn't much to be scared of. So when he closed the distance, he did it pretty smooth, or pretty easily. And Muniz fell to the cage and finished the fight. So exactly how I predicted it. Ikram, I wonder where they go next with him. You could probably steer him towards the top 20. Where is he ranked right now? Wrong. I always click that. Why do we go to the middleweights? Probably have to go back, right? Let's see. Where is he? Ikram. Maybe not. I just want to see this real quick. Let's see. Rankings. Middleweight. Ikram he's got to be top 30. Yep, 23rd. So he did get a quick finish. Do you do him versus Shara? Shara was calling somebody out, but I think he might have a fight booked. You could do Ikram versus the winner of the Pyfer Gastelum fight. That would be a really good fight. You could do, let's see, Ikram versus Hermanson is really good. Ikram versus Marvin you could do. It'll be interesting. I think you give him a ranked fight next, though. RoboCop. I can see them doing Ikram RoboCop. That's a really interesting fight, too. Maybe they're doing RoboCop Shara. Who knows? Middleweight's getting fun. I like middleweight. Brendan Allen. I wonder who they're gonna give him. Brendan Allen, I got to question his IQ sometimes. But let's get back to the fights, guys. Next up, we had Randy Rude Boy Brown, taking on Nicholas Dalby. Oh, man. I'm going to look like an ass for this pick. But you got to respect Nicholas Dalby. Got his nose broken the very first round, was getting pieced up early. Randy Brown came out smoking. He was on Nicholas Dalby's ass. Jab was working, head kicks, body kicks. He looked pretty quick. He was super quick. Like I said, broke his nose, wobbled him in the very first round. Then Nicholas Dalby came back and wobbled Randy Brown, and then got on top, landed some pretty good ground and pound. Finished the round out on top. It was I wonder how they scored it, but it was probably like a toss up. Randy Brown was definitely getting, the better of him early, but Nicholas Dalby knocked him down and was doing some pretty good work. Almost, I believe he was finding an arm triangle almost, but the round ended and second round comes out. I knew the pressure was going to give Randy Brown some trouble, but he did it a little too sloppy. His head movement was okay, like the first 15 seconds, and then Randy Brown just touched him up. Right hook. Oh, man. Nicholas Dalby was face planted on the mat. It was nasty. Randy Brown's boxing is crisp. It's clean. He's still got, some power in him. He's got the speed. And he's the very first guy to knock out Nicholas Dalby. And that was nasty. It was a nasty knockout. He got the, performance of the night. Him and Malcolm and I believe Zhang. Yeah. Nicholas Dalby and Randy Brown got fight of the night. Ming Yang Zhang, Malcolm Elmaker got performance of the night. So nasty knockout from Rude Boy, Randy Badman. You don't know, eh? Oh, man. Got to stop going against the grain. I like Nicholas Dalby, though. I don't know if he's going to fight again, but. Next up, we had the lock of the week, Abus Magomedov taking on Michel Pieta. And I will say, Michel Pieta did not look like himself. He looked like his confidence was zapped. He came out, was very hesitant, not like his normal self where he's coming out the gate, guns blazing. He was getting jabbed up. He was getting wobbled, getting rocked from some overhand rights from Abus. Abus was attacking the body pretty good too, like that lead teep. I liked it. He was throwing it a lot. I will say it did start to look like Abus was fading towards the middle of the second round, but he kept his whips about himself, landed a takedown, didn't really do much with it. Michel, he had a few moments where it looked like he was going to turn it up, but he never did. And it was a nasty performance. The fight wasn't really interesting either. I'm not saying like, oh man, I picked Abus and he looked amazing. It wasn't, an amazing fight. I was kind of biting my nails because I thought Michel was going to pull the trigger, but he never did. And Abus really just stayed clean for a majority of the fight, picked him apart, landed the better shots, landed more shots, evidently. And we cashed with the lock of the week, Abus Magomedov. I will say, though, Abus is on a run right now. Middleweight is getting jam-packed. I think they're going to try and put him in the top. Well, he is in the top 15 now. Michel Pieta was ranked, actually. So what do you do with Abus Magomedov? We just looked at the rankings. Do you do Abus? I think you kind of have to make him defend his ranking, right? Because that performance wasn't like, yeah, you're a ranked fighter. You know what I mean? Like, the guy he was fighting wasn't really giving him much back, which that's not his own fault. But in a fight like that, you kind of have to press on the gas a little bit more, find the finish, since this guy doesn't want to be in there with you. So I don't know. They might make him defend his ranking. I wouldn't be mad if they do Ikram versus Abus. That would be a really good fight, actually. Probably do it in like Saudi Arabia if they end up waiting that long. But Ikram probably wants to get back in there a little sooner. But Ikram versus Abus kind of makes sense, honestly. I would do it. Let's see what the UFC does, though. But the lock of the week comes through for the channel. Next up, we had David Onama taking on Giga Chikadze. Giga looked good. Very first round, he looked really good. He rocked David Onama. His hands looked a lot quicker too. Defended a few takedowns. David was in his media day interview, he did say like he's been a very big fan of Giga Chikadze growing up. He was watching him fight and things like that. So they asked him like, are you gonna have to take a moment to realize like, oh my gosh, I'm fighting Giga Chikadze, the guy I've been watching this entire time? And that's what it looked like he did for that first round. Definitely was not, I'm not going to say he was hesitant, but he was getting pieced up that very first round. Second round, he came out, applied some more pressure, kept Giga on the back foot. Giga didn't look as tired as he did in the Arnold Allen fight, but David kept the pressure on him, was landing some very clean strikes, wobbled him a few times, landed the takedowns, was working from top. And then same method of approach in the third round. Definitely won the fight. A lot of people didn't like the performance, but Giga Chikadze is still tricky, and it was a pretty tough fight for David Onama. But he wins ultimately. He's ranked, and he had Yusuf Zalal on his corner too, so he's definitely got the right team around him. He's gotta hone in on one thing or the other. It's either going to be the striking or the grappling, but he's definitely looking. This performance wasn't like, oh, David Onama, he's ranked either, like similar to the Abus fight. But I like David Onama. I think he has some pretty high potential, maybe like top 10. I wouldn't say he's like a championship level fighter just yet, but I don't know. I don't know what you do with David Onama. Featherweight is got a lot of names there too. It'll definitely be interesting. Will they have to? Is him and Yusuf gonna have to fight one day? Who knows? I don't think they do it, but featherweight. I'm trying to think of. We can go to it real quick, right, chat? We could go to it. Let's check out the featherweight division. Oh, excuse me. Josh Emmett. We just took Giga's number. Kelvin should be booted, honestly. Where's the law? It's 11. They're not gonna make him. They're not gonna make David fight too far ahead. I could see them doing David Josh. Yeah, I could definitely see them doing David Josh, and then Emmett is probably gonna fight. They still got Yusuf as featherweight, but he's 55. Pitbull versus Pitbull versus Ige, right? I feel like Zalal is gonna have to Zalal versus Nathaniel, the last Kingsman would no longer, or Pat Sabatini. Oh man, maybe Pat versus David Onama. These two guys right here, I'm really high on. Really liked Pat Sabatini's performance against Brito, and then Nathaniel Wood. He's coming into his own. I liked his performance against Morgan Charrier too. I picked him. Should have locked him up, but yeah, featherweight's getting interesting too. Out with the old and with the new. But yeah, David Onama with the unanimous decision. Pretty easy call. A lot of people had Giga Chikadze as their underdog lock of the week, but you picked wrong, brother. It's all good. On to the co-main event. Look, guys, we're not really gonna break this fight down. Went exactly how I thought it would. Min Young Zhang splits Anthony Smith's head open, lands some big elbows from top position, and Anthony Smith goes out similar to how he has in his past few fights, curled up, waiting for the ref to stop the fight. Salute to him in his career. He did have a lot of great moments, a lot of great stoppages on his way to the title shot. Very humble guy. Did not take the belt from John Jones when he definitely could have, getting knee to the face on the mat. But after that, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but his past 5 or 6 has just been he had the 2 Ryan Spann wins, but the Vitor Petrino sub. But other than those, he's been getting finished left and right, and a lot of people thought he was gonna win this fight. No, brother. I actually tweeted. I was trolling. I said Anthony Smith with the walk-off KO. A few people were liking the tweet, but I was trolling, brother. Min Young Zhang TKO under a round and a half comes through for us too, but we'll get there when we get to Makai's money making plays. Main event of the evening: Ian Machado, Gary taking on Carlos Prates. We got to put the cigarettes down, guys. Do not show your kids to smoke. Don't show them what a cigarette is. Don't show them what alcohol is, because this is what happens when you do. Ian Gary looked really good for 4 rounds, 3 rounds, 3.5 rounds. Sticking and moving, was threatening with the wrestling. Carlos Prates' takedown defense, we have to, give him his props. He defended 13 out of 15 takedowns. Was only in, he was only taken down once or twice, and he would probably stay there for a minute total, minute and a half maybe. Ian Gary, he was the quicker striker, which I did say. He was, the better overall fighter. But I believed in Carlos's power, man. But he was not able to, string his strikes together. He was landing probably 4 shots each round. And you're not going to win just throwing 4 shots, bro. You're not going to win pop shotting when you got Ian Gary throwing in some really good flurries, mixing it up, attacking the legs, kept throwing the high kick, landed a really good uppercut in the 3rd round. I'm not going to say Carlos was hurt, but definitely, wobbled him a little bit. And Ian Gary did really well. Now, 5th round. Carlos Prates has the momentum. Well, let's go back to the 4th round. Carlos Prates starts pouring it on, landing some big jabs, big overhands. Went to the body, was attacking the body well. And 4th round, you can definitely see the momentum was shifting. Carlos Prates goes back to his corner. His cornermen are like, "Hey, you got to finish this fight." He said, "Okay, I'm gonna get him right here." And 5th round came on. Prates' gas tank was okay. It was okay. He lasted all 5 rounds. Definitely was concerned with his power dropping off in like round 4 or 5, but round 5 came on. The issue that Carlos Prates was doing, he kept chasing for a majority of this fight too. Round 5, he started to cut the ring off a little bit more, was landing on Ian Gary. Put him up against the cage, started landing. Hurt him. Ian Gary shot for a takedown, failed. Carlos Prates is on top of him. He followed him down to the mat, started landing some big ground and pound. Ian Gary's crawling away. It was a nasty scene. I thought Ian Gary was gonna get finished. And it really reminded me of like Izzy versus Pereira 1. That's exactly how it like played out. Prates though, the cigarettes ultimately costing him because he was not able to finish the fight. He let Ian Gary back up to his feet with like 16 seconds left, and Ian was able to, prance around, skate around, and survive to the bell. Carlos Prates was probably 5 seconds away from finishing Ian Gary, and had he not had a cigarette today, he probably would have did it. But you're gonna have to throw more than 6 shots around. You're gonna have to, do more than stalk and not put anything out there. Definitely needed to be more active, and more active in closing the distance as well too. But Ian Gary, he stayed clean for most of the fight. That 5th round was definitely nasty though, and then for him to call for a title shot or weigh in as a backup, I'm not convinced, bro. He's gonna have to win one more. He has to win one more. He's not next in line for the title. I would do Ian versus Sean Brady for the ultimate number 1 contender, and you're still gonna be behind Shavkat. You're not jumping Shavkat at all. You lost to him, and then you almost got finished. So this is gonna leave a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth about Ian Gary. You're almost getting finished in the 5th round, and you're calling for a title shot? No siree. No siree. And like I did say, it kind of reminds me of like a better version of Colby Covington. So I'll just, I'll leave that out there. I think he can get finished by, I think Sean Brady's live to finish him. I like Sean Brady's grappling a lot better. His takedowns aren't as, telegraphed. I think Buckley might be able to finish him. Buckley's got the power, and he's got a better gas tank than Carlos Prates. I wouldn't say he's a better striker, but he'll mix it up. He'll mix his striking up. He'll be active, which is what Carlos Prates failed to ultimately do. So Ian Gary, you got some work to do. I don't see him. I think Bilal wins too. I don't think he beats Bilal. I think Bilal might be able to finish him if he's gassing like that in that 5th round. I'm not convinced. I am not convinced. The Fighting Nerds take a loss. This is not their first. Mayra Bueno Silva has been a part of them. Bruno Brazil is also a fighting nerd. Maybe they're just not like the ones that the UFC wants to highlight, but they are fighting nerds. But all 3 of them have lost this year or in the past year or something like that. I still like the fighting nerds. This is not a fraud check at all. Carlos was still there. He did his takedown defense. We have to salute it. He held his own for 5 rounds, defended all but like 2 takedowns, and it was the first time he's been taken down in the UFC. So it's not a fraud check. Who do you do for Carlos, or who do you give Carlos next? You can definitely rebook the Jeff Neal fight. Still would love to see that, and I think the fans would love to see that as well. And it'll be, a better matchup for him, striker versus striker, and it'll be 3 rounds. So let's do that. Ian Gary, though, you have to fight Sean Brady. I don't think the UFC should let him, weigh in as a backup. I think Sean Brady deserves that, if anybody. But yeah, I'm not convinced. I am not convinced, brother. Really good fight card though. Let's go through the picks. Opening up 1-0 with Jocelyn, 1-1 Timmy 1, 2-1, 3-1. Perfect prediction on these two. Malcolm and Jacqueline getting the finishes. 4-1, right? Yeah, 4-1. 4-2, 5-2, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4, 9-4, 9-5. Decent day. I tried to be great, with the Jimmy Flick and the Nicholas Dalby picks. Sometimes you just got to be, sometimes you got to dare to be great. And I dared this week, but I'm not mad at it at all. Both of them were pretty close. Well, not Nicholas Dalby, but Jimmy Flick was definitely pretty close. So, and then the Timmy Kawamba, that was in an early stoppage. So sometimes the coin just flips that way. Carlos Prates almost gets the finish. He was a cigarette away, brother, but it is what it is. Let's open up Makai's money-making plays. As you know, we cashed on a boost money line. Took him as a dog or as a lock of the week. Then we also hit on the Zhang TKO under a round and a half. Ikram inside the distance. Banged on that. Missed on the Blackshear money line. John Castaneda and the over and the Giga Onama fight. John Castaneda did not come through for us, so we lose on that. Bang on the Elder Wellmaker Onama money line, and then we lose on the other plays. 15 seconds away from banging the plus 860 Wellmaker Prates TKO. Malcolm came through like I told you he would, and like he told everybody else that he would. And then the Flick Amareem sub was so close, but Demon, he decided to strike today. So it is what it is, man. Not mad at all. Pretty good day. We won some money. So let me know what you guys thought about the fight card. I really enjoyed it. I think you guys did. If I had to rate it, I would definitely I'll give it like an 8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed a lot of these fights. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite fight. Who's your favorite fighter on the card? What you guys think about the main event? Does Ian Gary deserve the next title? The next title shot? I don't think so. But I will see you guys next week. We are right back to it with Corey Sandhagen taking on Davison Figueiredo. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.